What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the TJR Auto channel. My name is Tyler, and in today's video, we're going to see how difficult it is to fix the gauge cluster inside of my favorite vehicle I've ever owned, Holley VHD. Now, thankfully, this time around, this is actually a pretty quick and easy fix compared to what we had to do in last video. If you didn't see it, I highly recommend you go check it out. We had to replace the water pump in this whole girl because one of the gaskets gave out, and yeah, not a good time. But I took this thing on a pretty decently long drive today, and the one thing that was really irking me was these gauges. Now, we can see that the RPMs, the fuel, and the voltage are all way off. And even when I put the key in, you see fuel just moves to who the hell knows where. The voltage is also still just way off. And even with starting the truck, our tach right now is at 500, but usually it'll drop to around 1 or 200 idle, which obviously is not correct. And again, our fuel and voltage are just way off. So what we got to do, this thing will beep at us for an hour if I let it, but what we got to do first is get this cluster out of the truck. So from what I've seen on the interwebs, this whole process should be relatively easy. I know we got to drop this guy down, and then I think you kind of just yank until something breaks free. No, stop beeping. I know. You're upset. I know. I get it. I am too. It's okay. All right. There is our bezel. That is done. What? Okay, please stop. Spare me. All right. So now that that's out of our way, we just have 4 7mm bolts that hold the cluster in. All right, so now I should be able to kind of finagle this guy out of here. Oh, I see. Okay, you got to squeeze it a little hard. Boom! There's our cluster. So I don't know what gear I'm in. Funny, right? Okay. Well, that was pretty easy. So hopefully this continues to be easy. Now that we have the cluster, we're going to start popping it apart. It's basically just a bunch of little plastic clips, so I'm sure at least half of these are probably going to break. But before we bother opening this up, I would like to showcase what's inside of this box. So this is a pretty cheap kit on Amazon. I'll link it down below, and I'll probably put a picture of the listing up now. I forget how much I spent it. I know it was pretty inexpensive for something that, you know, when you're driving a vehicle, you're staring at the gauges, right? Like that's one of the main things in front of you. Like that, steering wheel, windshield, dashboard, right? So you don't want your gauges to be all up like this. At least in my case, this just pisses me off. So for the price, this is a pretty good bang for the buck. This, couldn't tell you what it is. This we will be using to remove the needles out of the cluster. Here we have this cute little soldering iron, and it's even adjustable. That's fancy. It's definitely not going to burn my house down. Now this, I'm pretty excited to use. This is a solder sucker, I believe. I've never had to remove solder from something. I've only ever stuck wires together. So I've never done it on a circuit board, so we'll see how this goes. And then this also came with these little LEDs. I don't intend on installing these lights into here. All of my lights do work in this cluster. But it is nice to either have them for a rainy day if my lights ever do dim or go out, or depending how hard or easy it looks, maybe we'll end up doing these too. But that's not the concern of this video. This thing, I don't know. We have some solder nuts for that contraption. It's probably however you set the stand up. We don't need that. A little sponge, I guess, for cleaning the tip of the gun. And then here is what I find most important. This right here are the stepper motors. Now, of course, they don't want to play nice. Okay, come on. Come on. No. There you go. Okay. So here is the little stepper motors. Essentially, there's 4 little pins. I don't know, even if I zoom in, I don't know if you can be able to see it. There's 4 little pins on here that go through the circuit board. They're soldered on. And then this singular pin on technically the front of it is what the needle is stuck on and is what actually moves. So I've never heard of these even being a thing, but apparently on these trucks, you know, any like the GMC Sierras, Suburbans, Tahoes, whatever, like this generation, like GMT800s, I believe they are. This is a very common thing to have to do. So, like I said, it's a pretty cheap kit on Amazon, 20 or 30 bucks, I'm pretty sure it was, and should be well worth it. So, without further ado, let's try popping this cluster apart. Aha! You just gotta force it a little bit. Okay, that's that. As you just saw, I already got the backing strip off as well. Now we can use this fancy little gadget and start popping our needles off. Oh, that does pop off quite nice. Can't hurt us. Pop stepper mode off. Well, there you have it. It just kind of pops apart at free will. So that's good. We're just going to put that there. I'll throw that there. And here she is. Alrighty, I have upgraded my workstation. We now have power, cardboard, so I don't burn my mother's table, and I wetted the sponge. So anywhoosins, again, we're going to be replacing this and these two. So 3 altogether. We have 6 that comes with this little pack. So let's start off with this guy over here. I'm not really a fan of sitting it like this, but I guess it's fine. So again, we're going for this guy, which is going to be these 4 little pins over here. Now, I have never used this little solder sucker before in my life. So I think what we do is we charge it up, and then you hit that, and I think it sucks it up while you use the soldering iron to melt it. So let's see. That is so cool. Oh my God. Wow. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. Wow. Wow. I like this. This is nice. Ooh. Oh, we have movement. Aha. All right. Well, there's our stepper motor. So it was in that. Oh, there's alignment pins too. Oh, so you really can't even mess this up. Now, I will say too, it's kind of funny. Our old one does have a black spot in the middle. I would expect that to be like a burn mark essentially. So I don't think we're working backwards here. So that's nice. That is very good. Very good. I like that. So this was kind of sitting cattywampus. Something of that nature. Yep. Okay, so that should pop right back in. All right, clicks right into place. There's that. Now, we have to use our cute little soldering roll and solder the baby girl in. Also, you probably shouldn't inhale this stuff. I know it's not good, but I'm still going to. Oh. Get. I know you don't really need much on. Oh, there we go. That's a nice one. Okay, that's good. I like that. We get good contact on it. Okay, that's 2 out of 4. Oh, did a little over on that guy. Oopsies. I could probably turn the heat of this down. I am burning the board. Probably isn't good for it. That's good. Always like that. Oh. Alrighty. Well, that is soldered on. So I guess I'll throw you on a time lapse. I'll knock out the other ones, and then we'll throw the cluster back together, and we'll go test it in the truck. Alrighty, now we're back in the vehicle. I didn't put the top plastic cover of the the cluster back on, just because I would like to plug this into the power, turn the key on, and see if we fixed it, if we didn't, if we made it worse, whatever. I ended up also replacing the odometer, well, the mile per hour thingy, just because it looked like it was burnt like the other ones, so I figure it doesn't hurt. Oh my god, it works. Holy shit. Alright, so I did just get gas in this thing yesterday, but again, I did drive it a decent bit today, so I expected it to be a little bit low. And then our voltage is, you know, close enough to 12 that I'd call it good. So now, what I would like to do is, we can see our tach is a little high, same with the RPM. So what I'll do is I'll shut the power back off. We'll make sure that everything is put at 0, and then we'll power it up again a few more times, make sure that everything is good. All right, so with the cluster back apart, I had it on the table. I just replaced the trans temp little stepper motor. And then I was thinking about, I'm like, you know what? Do I replace any of these bulbs while I'm in here? And I said, you know what? Let's find out if any are actually burnt out. Yeah, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bulbs burnt out. And if I take one of the new bulbs and I touch it to those posts, it does light up. So all of those lights should be on, and we have a handful out. So I guess we're going to be changing the bulbs as well. Well, we got the main trim bezel back on. Gauges are obviously in. And while I had the main bezel off, I took the time to pull the radio out, and I basically hot wired the parking brake sensor for this radio so that I can access the DVD feature, the Bluetooth feature 24/7. So we're good there. I'm finally Bluetooth connected to this thing. It's good. I don't have to use I don't have to use one of these little Bluetooth transmitters anymore. So that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We're moving places. But figure I'll show you the gauges. I did have them apart 1 or 2 more times since the last clip that I filmed. Everything right now is basically the same as you saw it, except I basically took the needles. I had to take them back off. I just took a red Sharpie, colored them red, so they're nice and red, so that's cool. Left everything else basic. Everything is zeroed out, basically the best that I could get it, except for the oil pressure. That's up like 1 tick, like half a tick. The gas gauge is down half a tick, and the trans temp is right above 100. So, yeah, pretty close. That's basically the best I care to do it. But here's the moment of truth. Look at that. Would you look at that? So I was looking at old pictures of the gauge cluster from when I first got the truck, and basically half of the lights actually were out on the cluster, and I really just never noticed it. So I ended up doing some of the lights on the cluster itself, obviously, and I'll put some pictures in of a before and after. I didn't bother filming it just because it was a little bit more soldering. You know, take the old bulb off, put the new bulb on. There was nothing to it. The new ones weren't LEDs. I don't know why I thought they were LEDs. They were just very plain basic bulbs. So they went right in place of these. And I'm super stoked with it. So I'm definitely going to have to take this thing out at night, see how she looks, and all that jazz. Alrighty, folks, so there you have it. That is the quick and easy way of repairing a GMT800 gauge cluster. It's been about a week since I started actually filming this video, and I've had 0 issues since. All the lights are still bright. All the stepper motors are still working. Everything is still pretty dialed in, so I have 0 complaints. Once again, the link will be down in the description below, so if any of you guys suffer from the same thing, I'll have the link to the kit that I used, and it was pretty easy to work with. Everything's still working, so I have nothing bad to say. You know, it is what it is. I'll take the easy wins any day of the week. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I truly do appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to drop a like down below, drop a comment. And if you guys want to see more content, whether it's on my lovely GMT800, GMC Sierra, or my built GTO, or the 5-speed Grand Marquis, make sure you subscribe to see some more content. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.